Good morning, ladies and gentlemen and participants. On behalf of the ESCOT project team at the Seoul National University and the collaboration with our esteemed co-organizers from the 25th Inter-University Symposium on Asian Megacities, it is the privilege to welcome you to the first Korea-Mongolia Urban Forum. Today, I'm going to be your beloved host. My name is Ulaanbaatar. Now we are opening our first section of the Korea-Mongolia Urban Forum towards a sustainable urban development in Mongolia, challenges and opportunities. Today in this section, we have 4 presenters, and each presenter will present their presentation in 15 minutes, and after that, we have 5 minutes for question and answer section. So our first presenter is Mr. Kantolak Nilku, who will speak on plan and implement of Ulaanbaatar green affordable housing development. So welcome to the Mr. Kantolak.
Thank you, everybody, and good morning. I'm one of the guy who is coming from Mongolia, representing one of the green initiative project in Mongolia. So as you can see from the presentation title, we are tackling with the affordability and green technologies, and also the resettlement area of gear areas. So my presentation is basically consists of the 5 sections you can see from here. So I'm briefly go over the background of the Ulaanbaatar city, how we're planning our project, and how we're implementing, and also I will just briefly mention about how our social activity is carrying out and the result in discussion. So before going into the brief of the Ulaanbaatar city, what is goal of our project, and then how our project is the timeline. So our project is actually funded by ADB and also GCF and also the municipality of the Ulaanbaatar city. And our project is initiated in 2020, actually signing the contract. And then the last couple of years, we did the extensive background studies. And then we're proceeding with our detailed engineering design. And now our construction is ongoing at this moment. So before moving on to the project details, I'm going to give the brief the details of the Ulaanbaatar city, how our Ulaanbaatar city is consist. And then you can see from the bigger picture, this is how we call this gear area. So this is the kind of the settlement area of the Ulaanbaatar city. And Mongolian population is around 3.3 million, but most of it, which is the 1.7 million people, are living only in Ulaanbaatar area. And this gear area consists of the major of the Ulaanbaatar city, 53% of the total population. So because of the lack of infrastructure and then lack of proper urban planning, we facing a lot of problem at this moment. So which means that, for example, the air pollution wise, city wise, 80% is produced by this gear area. And also the soil pollution and traffic and all those kind of, the outcomes are consist from this gear area. And then, as you can see from the numbers, our city population expected to be increasing in coming years. For example, in 2035, our expected population will passing the 2 million. So, before building the housing project and resettlement, the urban planning, we have to look at the real estate market at this city. So in our real estate market, you can see from the picture, it actually consists of the 4 zones. The zone called A, AA, and A, B, C. So you can see from here. So you can see from here our project is actually located in C zone, which is far from the city. So from these statistics, you can see that the building type wise, our the luxury to standard, so which means that majority of the market consists of the standard building in this C zone. So what is the standard type of the housing building in Mongolia? You can see from the sample picture here, this is just 1-bedroom apartment building. The square meter wise, it's less than 40 or 50 square meter. The marketing wise, the pricing point, you can see this is the one of the latest statistics which we have at this moment. City wise, the average price is 3.8 million MNT, which is equivalent to around 1,000 USD per square meter. This is the 2023 Q4. But if you the little bit narrow down this general pricing to the location wise, Ulaanbaatar city, the housing market in C zone, which is around 3.3, which is a little bit less than 1,000 US dollar per square meter. This is the selling price for the apartment unit. So based on the income level, which we actually surveyed our good resident area people, based on the income level study shows that our purchase power of based on income is around 852. So from here, you can see that our income and market-wise in gear areas, we have extensive gap between the affordability analysis. So about the urban planning wise, the Ulaanbaatar city is actually the consist of the polycentric urban planning. So from here, you can see that our project is located in one of the sub-center of the Ulaanbaatar city, which is called Bayunghoshu and Sharhat area. So before we selecting the site, of course, we have to study all those kind of the criteria. It includes the parcels and zonings, VPS, infrastructural, demographic, topography, all those, the criteria are overlapped, and then based on those, the criteria we select the first project site. Once the project site is selected, of course, we're proceeding with all kinds of social surveys and also the zoning of the first the planning. So at this moment, our architecture plan wise, the first the outcome is already done for a detailed engineering design. From here, you can see that in Bayunghoshu area, now we're proceeding with 462 units of apartment. They consist of 3 project sites. And also Sharhat, it consists of the 2 project sites. So at this moment, the 2 sites are already under construction. So from here, you can see that our project is actually low-story buildings, and also the density-wise is a little bit, the less density, the planning. So because of the green features in our all building includes all kind of green features. For example, this building has attached the greenhouse, and then of course all the building has rooftop solar panels, and also we are considering with the embodied body of the construction materials. And then also the supporting the livelihood, we're planning for greenhouse integration for our landscaping and also supporting the livelihood program for residents. So at this moment, we already designed the 3 type of greenhouses merging into our landscaping plan. So construction-wise, you can see that now RC, the structural construction is almost finishing. So we are proceeding with the finishing, and then we will try to achieve the handover to the states end of this year. So this is the kind of statistics showing that in Bayunghoshu area, the 110 units, apartment units, you can see. So this is also showing the Sharhat area, the apartment unit progress. You can see that the reinforced concrete structure is finished and masonry is finished. And then, but only be constructing the buildings. Also, we're constructing the infrastructure together. So about the green feature wise, of course, we need to introduce the kind of new aspects to Mongolian constructions. For example, material wise, we are introducing one of the new the type of material which is called the cellular glass. So which is not locally produced at this moment. And also the cement wise, we're using the fly ash blended cement, and also we're using the solar PVs and the heat efficient radiators. And also we have to save some water. So which means our the fixture wise, we have to use the low flow fixtures. So of course, this is the one of the ADB project, and then each step need to be passing by the all those kind of consultation with the residents. That's why in every step we are consulting with the local residents at this moment. So, and also we need to create a workplace during this construction. So that's why we are hiring the local residents in order to participate and smoothen the construction progress. The general study was, of course, the resident is one of the first priority for us. That's why, for example, we did extensive surveys on those two sites. The willing to participate in social, economic, all those kind of social activity surveys done. For example, in Bayonghoshu area, we already surveyed in more than 1,500 people. In Sharhat area, for example, we already surveyed for 3,400 people. So you can see from here the Hasha. So there is a newcomer, I believe. So what is called Hasha in Mongolian means this is one parcel of the land. But one of the major problem which we having this moment is in this one parcel, it's not only consisting one family, there's multiple families, but only one family has the ownership. So that's why we have at this moment facing the non-titled residents the challenge. So I'm going to mention how we are overcoming this kind of challenge in my next stage. So I'm going to move to my results and findings. In this kind of green initiative resettlement project in Gir area of Ulaanbaatar city, we having some major the challenges. For example, the voluntary resettlement. Because of this non-titled housing people, there's a very the challenging to resettle those people. So we are now working very closely with the city, Ulaanbaatar city, and then now we are initiating with the proper social housing program in order to resettle those people. And then, of course, the next one is affordability. We do have some gap between our market and then also the selling price of the apartments. That's why we're introducing also the subsidy for our green technology. And I would like to thank also our funding agencies for providing this kind of financial support on this kind of project. And then, of course, the green technology is one of the next challenge. At this moment, at Mongolian construction, this is kind of new technology which we are introducing. So that's why in all our contractors, even designers, we are lacking the experience on this one. That's why we try to initiating also capacity building, all kind of the improvement program in our project. And of course, the financing is one of the key item in order to successfully implement this kind of project. And then at this moment, our funding agencies are closely working with us and then provide the financing on this kind of green project. And then what we need to do in the further actions. So at this moment, we are very also closely with them, working with our ministries and then try to localize and then create our new Mongolian green construction documents, especially for technical documents. At this moment, we have the guideline, which is based on the international practice and also all kind of technical specifications on our hand at this moment. So we try to, in coming years, we try to localize those technical documents in Mongolia. And then based on those technical documents, of course, the policy reform is one of the next step, which we need to pursue it. And then based on this policy reform, all kind of capacity building and next initiative program will happen in coming years. So this is kind of brief of my presentation. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I would like to answer.
Is there anyone who would like to ask a question from Mr. Kanto?
Thank you very much for your the question. That's one of the key challenge which we having at this moment. Based on the income level, when we survey the purchase power of those new apartment units are around 800, but in the market prices is already more than 1,000. So we do have some financial gap between per square meter. But at this moment, our project do have some subsidies for green technologies. Thank you for. I would like to thank also by using this chance to the Asian Development Bank and also the Green Climate Fund for the providing those kind of subsidies. So what I mean is in this kind of the green technologies and green initiative projects, proceeding within this kind of gear area, we do need some financial support in order to smoothen the progress. Thank you. That's very interesting question. So I will move back a little bit. So in urban planning wise, we include a little bit kind of how can I say narrow down approach. For example, we didn't include all kind of city planning, this kind of road planning and all, etc. But we a little bit focus on the eco district wise. Of course, it includes the how much green space do we need, and then what kind of the zoning do we have. All those, the human traffic, all things are considered in our guideline. But it will be a little bit more focused on the eco district. How can I say? Requirements included. So hopefully in the coming years, we will publish our the guideline in dual language, English and Mongolian. And also, I would like to, in the future, if you have, everybody have, if it is a good chance to give us your valuable comments on our technical documents, and then we will be very much appreciated for that. Yes, thank you for question. That's a very good question. Maybe I miss presenting our the infrastructure preparation work on those two areas. Actually, how our project is sitting with this, we do have one initial project, which is providing all kind of the off-site infrastructures, including the heating, water supply, telecommunication, electricity, everything. And then also the main roads, cross sections, and then paved roads are there. So once it's vacated, and then we're proceeding with now the building wise. So of course there's a policy in our the Ulaanbaatar city, and especially in this gear area development infrastructure, and then the housing, and then of course the resettlement. So those kind of steps are followed. And also we need to challenge some of the policies, just introduce this kind of green technologies also into Ulaanbaatar city.
Thank you very much for this. So our next presenter is Mr. Chin Jae-duk. Thank you. Yes.
So good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to present this project in front of many members from Korea, also from Mongolia, who has been in charge of doing a lot of important tasks for city of Ulaanbaatar and also for the entire country of Mongolia. So I want to introduce the background of this project. That I was a research member of one great and interesting project that was consisting of three teams. International School of Urban Sciences. Oh, before that, I'm from International School of Urban Sciences at University of Seoul. I'm a professor of the program. So last year, it is based on the KSP program, that is a knowledge sharing program, which is one of the important ODA project the Korean government is supporting for helping many parties and cities and country all around the world. And this is one of such example. Then the main issue is how we can provide affordable housing for Mongolian cities. Then our research team consists of three institutions. Again, the University of Seoul, where I belong to, International School of Urban Sciences, and Seoul National University Law School, and also Hana Research Institute. So the outcome that I will present today is one small aspect of very comprehensive research, because this is a part of the KSP project. So you will see the entire booklet that is more than 250 pages that will be available soon in online from the KSP website. Yeah. So, and also because this is very comprehensive research, consider many different parts. So because I have only 15 minutes, so I cannot cover all the things. So I want to only emphasize key things that I can highlight. Yeah. So, and also because not from my only effort, this is a very large size of members from, of course, the Korean specialist experts. And also I really want to appreciate again that our partner in Mongolia, MCUD, Ministry of Construct Urban Development, who has been doing a lot of great job for helping us in order to complete this project. So that is the background of this project. So there are many project background we have, but I think the key thing is because as we know, that Korea has been experiencing a lot of housing issues from the past decades. And we believe that we have successfully completed and dealt with a lot of issues from housing issues, in particular those mega cities. So we want to share our experience and we want to study and research what is the key things we can learn, and we can also help for helping a lot of issues in Mongolian housing issues, in particular focusing on affordable housing aspects and the key challenges. So because I have about 20 slides, but I have only 15 minutes, so I cannot cover all the things because you can see the details of each slide from the materials we have provided. But if you are interested in this subject, please pay attention to the bottom of each slide. So I have emphasized key takeaways from each slide in the bottom. So that's, I will just emphasize those key aspects and try to explain the key aspects and key findings and key challenges we have experienced throughout the process. So the thing is, as we know, the Ulaanbaatar is increasing, and also we are also trying to tackle a lot of issues from the increased size of ghetto area, as we just learned from the previous presentation. The thing is, the number, even we are trying to reduce, but number of the ghetto area in terms of quality and quantity is really increasing. That's the key thing. However, the affordable housing project through a lot of initiative is not that sufficient, and the portion is somewhat you can see decrease if you compare 2000 and 2010 22 numbers from a comprehensive study we have found here. You can see it was originally 6.3% in 2010, but 2020 it has been decreased to 3.7%. Yes. So we have a lot of challenges facing with, even we try to implement many ideas and projects to deal with this housing shortage and public rental housing. And this is another international comparison. You can see from Mongolia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and Pakistan, because when you define the concept of affordability, that is the important measurement is the comparison before the housing price and your average income. Then you can see for the past 10 years, since 2021, past 5 years, this is very dramatic change in very short time. Compared to those comparable countries, Mongolia has been experiencing very significant increase for the past 5 years. Yes. So this is about supply types and supply areas. We can see Ulaanbaatar about half and half, the city, and the other entire country outside of Ulaanbaatar about half and half. And if you see the bottom, the summary, the actual supply of rental housing is only 8%. Even though we have tried to provide more than 18,500 units. So we have some plan for the past 20 years for providing more public housing. But even if we have a great plan and great ideas, even there are some funding sources, we are not able to provide the enough number of housing public units to the city of Ulaanbaatar. So this is the structure of our organization. So I believe most of you guys already well know about this. So I want to skip this part. But I think the two institutions you already know who can actually provide and construct public rental housing in Mongolia is two institutions, TOSC and NOSC. There are two key entities. We don't have any other. Of course, the private sector has been doing something, but for the public sector, only TOSC and NOSC is in charge of providing public housing, public rental housing. So but there are many things that we have conducted to understand, assess what is existing conditions, in particular demand and satisfaction, and what they want from the actual residents. So we have reached out. So this is helping from local consultant. That we have contacted two their representative to public rental housing project in Ulaanbaatar. One is Kahangi Cotton, right? And also the other one is Ulaanbaatar, number 2. So we have reached out 50, about 25 from A district, and another one, we have 26 households that was conducted last year, May. Yeah, that was an on-site survey. So actually, this is not from online. Our local consultant is going there in person and meeting with them, and based on in-depth interview results. So there are many interesting results, but mostly they are expected. This is an overview of the two project site. It was completed about 10 years ago. So we thought that because they have lived that project about 10 years, so they have a sufficient amount of experience for sharing their level of satisfactions and other types of experience from this rental housing project. The key findings we learned is, of course, they want to live longer because now the basic contract period about only 5 years. It's hard to renew, and they want to continue to stay there even more than 10 years. That's the key things we learned from this. But I think this is not a big surprise, right? We want to expect this kind of results. And because we're also trying to provide some new leasing system, more than 5 years. So most of people, they agree. You can see about 3/4 people agree with this question. Then there are several more questions. Why do not plan to move? Yeah, because they don't have enough income even after living over there. And also the other important thing that I will explain further later is because we try to create some savings account for providing and helping those people that we ask them if we create a savings account for funding those housing projects, that are you willing to create savings accounts, even saving your personal income. So you can see more than half, if you see this bottom side, right? More than half of people agree with they are willing to subscribe to housing savings account. And so this is to ask. So first they get into the public housing, but you can change their ownership from rental to their ownership. In that case, how much they are interested in this type of transition. You can see many people agree with this. They are willing to stay there, even completing their rental period. And you can see the amount they want to use for the deposit for housing savings. You can see the sum result here. Then we have also another interesting two in-depth interview. So if you have experience working in housing market, real estate market in Ulaanbaatar and Mongolia, there are two key private sector companies. One is Intellect, who has been doing a lot of projects, in particular Gary area for development project. And what they are saying is, even though we are trying to provide this through the public, but the private housing, The private sector is still a very important role for private housing. So there are something we can try to incorporate public-private partnership for meeting the target and goals we have created, because the public sector only cannot attain that goal we have created. That's the key outcomes and takeaway we learn from Intellect. The one more group that is a REMAX. This is an international global group, but they have been doing many interesting projects, collaborating with public sectors and international organizations. Ulaanbaatar. And what they're saying is the main key challenges and difficulties is duplication procedures. That's kind of some difficulties and admin issues. That's typical difficulties that we can see from this type of project. And also compensation. Yeah, because even when we invite private sector into public housing project, we need to give them some incentive and some tax break, but that is not sufficient compared to other countries. Yeah, and also legal system supporting public rental housing. That's another the key takeaway we'll learn from REMAX. So this summary of implications, but I already explained this. I'm going to skip this part. And this is some system comparison between Korea and Mongolia. Yeah, because of our time limitation and running out of time, I'm going to skip this. And because there is a conclusion slide that maybe I can explain all the things. Yeah. And this is between Korea and Mongolia, in particular, land acquisition system. And the other one is government support. The key things I want to emphasize as a conclusion of this comparison is that, because I'm not a legal expert, but we have a very great legal expert team, Seoul National University Law School, that they have investigated very thoroughly with a partner with the local lawyers who has been experienced a lot of issues in Mongolia and Ulaanbaatar. That the key thing is because the paradigm and philosophy about land is very different. As you know, the Mongolia is basically a nomadic country. So they have some freedom. When they can stay and acquire the land, they have some freedom and they can keep and stay there. So we cannot keep off them from the property. That has made a lot of issues in such as ghetto area. So, but in the constitution, we found that there is some clue that we can intervene in those kind of process. So in Korea and many capitalism countries, we have systems such as eminent domain. When there is a use for public use, then we can take the private property in order to provide some infrastructures and some public housing. But that is not really now implemented in the system of Mongolia. So as a conclusion of this comparison, we have suggested that Mongolia can consider creating eminent domain for successfully completing this kind of land acquisition process, which is very required and fundamental for successfully implementing public rental housing system. Then this is organization comparison. Mongolia needs more institution, especially focusing on public housing. Yeah. So as you may know, that Mongolia government, in particular, now as a result of recent election, that there are some delay of creating national level housing corporation. Yeah. So there will be now, I believe, on the implementation. So maybe that new entity who is comprehensively doing this job can maybe deal with this issue of more successfully and proactively providing more public housing in Mongolia. Then let me also skip this, because this is what I just explained. Then this is the legal comparison. As I just explained, if you can see, there are key components we need to have compared to Korea and Mongolia legal system, focusing on housing issues, urban issues. Then 3X, right? You can see that is what Mongolia is missing, even the Korea is providing. Yeah, that is a special act on public housing, Private Rental Housing Act, and Housing Fund Act. So as a conclusion, we have created some process and blueprints and the vision and roadway to create this kind of laws in the context of Mongolia. And I think this is the last slide. Yeah, so in conclusion, that we need to create and reform the housing policies and some structures, not only for the public, which is all that I have emphasized, but also the private is important. The reason is, as you know, that Mongolia government, central government has created a new law that was passed, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago for implementing PPP. Yeah, and that will be implemented this year, 2024. So usually PPP has been used for such as a large size of infrastructure projects, such as highways and airports. So we have a great example of successful stories in Mongolia. But for housing, we did not really implement that PPP by using some government subsidies and a law, because this year is very momentum year, I believe, because we have now act that is already approved by central government. We have a lot of the great public sectors and private sectors. So by implying those PPP, maybe we can implement those kind of suggestions. And the last and most important thing we have suggested by applying the Korean experience is creating housing fund. Yeah, because main issue is always funding, money. Yeah, we know that we have a lot of great ideas, but we do not have a sufficient amount of ideas. As we know, the Mongolia entire country size is very huge, but because of population size is not that high to cover the economic scale. Yeah. So when you create housing specific fund, for instance, in Korea we have housing fund for apply for apartment or public housing. So we are using and collecting a savings account to create larger size of money. So that's what we also suggest for Mongolia government to consider for successfully and usefully implement many ideas we have suggested here. Again, so because of our learning about time and those time limitation, I cannot cover all the details, but I really believe that the research outcomes, again, the collaboration with MCUD and local experts, we did our best to create a very comprehensive report that will be available online soon from KSP website, kspgo.kr, I believe. That is available in not Mongolian, unluckily, but English and Korean. So because we are all experts who are interested in housing issues and urban issues, I would really suggest that you may take a look those reports for your further research. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, any questions? Yeah. Kantoga, your question. Yes. Yeah. Nice meeting you again. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, can you say again? You mean interest rate? Yes. One problem. Yes, because I think the eminent domain is one such example, because well, basically people want to stay there, right? Throughout the redevelopment project. Yeah, the main thing is because when they have property ownership, so we cannot kick them out. Yeah, such as because we are now here in Suwon, next to here there is Gwangyo. Gwangyo is one of a new town project. Many suburban new town project or inside a redevelopment project. This is a very complicated issue, but the basic answer, the short answer to your question is we have a system, basically eminent domain, that is the public sector. If the project is helping the general public and enhancing public welfare, then we can apply those eminent domain in order to redesign, redevelop those areas. In that case, the people who live there will be moved to others. This is kind of complex system, but in many cases, because to avoid the taking just kick them out. So we have some compensation system. We have a very sophisticated calculation formula such as LH. LH has been doing a lot of calculation through applying a lot of things. Yeah, so by doing some compensation project. However, I want to emphasize this is not that simple because where they live, such as in case of inside the Seoul, this maybe that is more comparable to in case of Ulaanbaatar, that now we have very established the great legal system, but such as 1980s and 1990s, about 30 years or 40 years ago, I think that is more comparable to the current situation in Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, that I would say, I cannot say many, but a handful of people just died. Yeah, because of a very strong conflict between the public kind of police power to kick them off from their development project. Because I already talked about this kind of experience with my Mongolian friends and colleagues, that because in case of Korea, it was very dramatic change, right, in terms of social system and political regime. Yeah. But however, now we are living in 21st century, not 1990s. So in Ulaanbaatar, I don't think that Ulaanbaatar need those kind of very tragic experience again. So we can handle those issues more peaceful way, democratic way. So that's why we are doing this kind of study. And also because you have been working with ADB at the AHULP, I believe that that is a very great model for doing this. But well, the reason to answer your question is the reason we cannot deal with in 1980s peacefully in the process because we are kind of very hasty. We want to get the outcome very quickly. Yeah, so it takes time. Yes, that's what I want to say to answer the question. Okay, yeah, please. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So again, the key justification for PPP, well, PPP is not that simple. There are many different types of variety of system of PPP. But in case of public housing, the reason is because public sector only that we already tried, only with the Toscan nodes, it has been not that successful. Even we get a lot of subsidies and investment from other countries. So we know that. So to increase the number of housing units, we should collaborate with private sectors. That's the key thing I want to, and also thanks for your input for the PPP ideas. Okay, yeah. So because yeah, Professor Lee, yeah. Shocked, yeah. PIL number. Well, honestly, I don't know what has made this change. So we have investigated what has made this dramatic change. So, well, as we know, this is a period of COVID-19, but that's not affecting only for Mongolia, all other countries. So I don't think, we don't think that the COVID-19 is the main issue behind this phenomenon. And probably maybe the local, right? Okay, do you have an answer to, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We have another panel discussion session.
Thank you for the Jinjatuk. Now we are next presenter, Mr. Mokfire Voigt, who is a senior lecturer at the Mongolian National University.
Okay, good morning. So my presentation is related to the one small demo house project, but it's not only demo house. We're trying to introduce zero energy building concept in Mongolian, especially for the housing, small housing section, or is it detached housing section? So nZEB is very common word in especially in the European Union, which is there is already they have very strong legal documentation in EU. They're using the directive, which is all countries have to, all new buildings in the European Union must be met the standard of nZEB, nearly zero energy buildings. So that's why we wanted to introduce that systems or concepts because, you know, we have strong dependence of electric energy from neighbor countries, especially Russia, and also the main sources, the coal-fired power plants. We have natural gas or other sources, only very less amount of LPG imported from Russia. So that's also the energy consumption is increasing annually approximately 5 to 6%, and but we still not build a new power plants. Well, that's why, especially for the winter time, there is the common issues, the cut off electricity approximately 2 or 3 hours. So, and because of that, many households wanted to become independent from the power sources, or not, of course, fully independent somehow. And so that's why we're trying to introduce this kind of concept in Mongolian market. So our concept was, okay, of course, firstly, we built more efficient buildings. So we have energy rating systems in Mongolia, which is also we developed for 5 years ago, and trying to find other sources of energy, especially for the heating. You know, the Mongolians, we need much more energy, especially for the heating. So that's why we focused on that. So one of the possibility was the air source of heat pump, and of course, another source is the heat for photovoltaic, which is quite suitable energy sources in Mongolian climate condition. We have more than 300 sunny days, which is good source for the energy. Also, the dry climate also helpful for the bring more direct solar radiation. So then we developed some small houses. Of course, it's, you know, our building energy center is the one of the research and training center in Mongolian University of Science and Technology, but it's self-financing. The university only supporting the rooms, you know. So, and that was the design. Of course, we cannot build so much big houses. It's approximately 36 square meter single family houses, and we're using different structures, mix it with metal and wood. And of course, we did many simulation on that to reduce the energy consumption, including the thermal bridge simulations. So the structures, and so then the ventilation also very big issues in Mongolia, especially the winter time. We need fresh air, but you know, if it's outside air is minus 20 or 30, then we need so much energy. It's sometimes it's much higher than the transmission heat loss. That we need more energy for the ventilation system. So that's why we also trying to introduce the proper ventilation system in the housing sector. So that's the mainly monthly energy consumption, especially for the heating and ventilation. And normally we also, if we can build the buildings correct ways, we don't need so much cooling systems nowadays. But and especially for the commercial buildings, they like to build the curtain wall systems, which is increasing cooling load dramatically. So, so then our design was met the energy efficiency label A, which is normally approximately 40% less energy using comparing to new building standards. And we did energy balance, which is what is the transmission or ventilation heat loss, but on the other hand, which gain we have the solar and internal heat gain. And for the energy source side, we choose the air source heat pumps, which can work minus 35 degrees Celsius, when outside temperature becoming almost, that's minus 35, it's almost the heating design temperature in UB. But those kind of heat pumps we can find in Chinese local market, not international market. So that was the biggest change nowadays. We can bring that heat pumps, but it's a bit challenge to work with the heat pumps, especially for the control systems. And but it works in our climate condition. And we also, not only the heating, we use it for the domestic hot water system. So it looks like that. So there is between the outdoor and indoor units some using the kind of buffer tanks. And not only it's storage systems, it's also helps to balancing hydraulic systems. And you know that heat pump is it works, but we need to find what is the optimization operation mode, optimal operation modes. It was very hard tasks, and it's depending on the also different kind of models. You know, it's hard to say exactly which temperatures you need to change your operation modes, and we're trying to make optimization. So some students of the bachelor and no, master and doctor students will work on it in the coming years. And for the energy source side, we selected photovoltaic systems, and it will is kind of hybrid system which can work with the grid connected systems. Well, it's for this house, we installed 5.6 kilowatt peak photovoltaic systems with the storage also, because it's kind of self-financing project in our centers. So then we also need to cooperate the suppliers of the photovoltaic system. So they wanted to test also independent heating system with the photovoltaic. Then we used also two different storage systems. One is the normal battery, but another one is the heat storage units. And now it's in totally approximately 30 kilowatt hour storage systems. We installed it. There's also kind of separated taste, the possibility of standalone power supply system for the heating. So that's the result of the air source heat pump, how it works in our climate condition. So we call it seasonal COP. That's approximately becoming 2, means the heat pumps can use 2 times less power or electricity for the, comparing normal direct electric heaters, it become 2 times less energy will use. And so on the other hand, photovoltaic, and there was the slip of the photovoltaic systems affecting efficiency of the, or production of the photovoltaic systems. We also comparing with the different slopes with 14, 30, and 45, which is 45 is good. So, but we already, one mistake was we used 14 graduate slopes, which is less production of the photovoltaic systems. It's also very useful information also, because this house is not only research and such of things, it's also public awareness we're using for that purposes. So such an example is very helpful to the visitors to understand for the design of for new houses. And so we made some annual energy balancing based on the static simulation. So then we become positive results, which is with the heat pump, with photovoltaics, we save or we produce more energy than our consumption. So that means our goal is achieved in that project. But we will do in the future research on that. And so, of course, the biggest discussion in Mongolia is how effective works the air source heat pump when outside temperature becoming -30. So PV production is, of course, it's becoming quite less during the peak period of the heating load, and then heat loss is much higher than the production. So how to manage that things is always biggest issues, because in that season we also have so much lack of the power supply systems. And yeah, then of course the becoming question related to the heat pumps. Normally, how to call it, internationally accepted heat pumps have all an SG reading systems, which is can connect directly to the photovoltaic systems. But problem is that the heat pumps can work lower than -35 or 30 degrees Celsius. They are only in Chinese local markets, which they haven't such a systems in the control unit. So that was a big challenge for us to improve or to combine the systems for the housing sector. And yeah, we are doing some future tests and measurements. And this September we'll start 4 different study in that houses. The students will do that. And we're trying to make more results in different ways to approve the nZEB housing concepts. Well, yeah, then of course, based on these data, we will say, okay, we need some different controller systems based on AI or machine learning things. Then at least we develop algorithm of such a air source heat pump for extreme cold climate countries. Yeah, that's the testing equipment, which is we already installed. We're not testing heat pumps, not only in the demo houses, we're using also we're doing some tests in those Mongolian traditional gears, air-to-air heat pumps, which is bring also good results. So yeah, that's all. But regarding that project, we working now in the future 2 projects. The one is to develop calculation methodology for the energy performance of building, because nowadays we focusing more on heating and ventilation systems, but the new kind of guidelines, including cooling, domestic hot water, and home appliances, and we call it actual energy, which is energy using for the pumps or fans, you know. So and also you know, our center is not working on not only for such a project, we also working in the legal documentation. So we also working on to improve the building codes related to energy efficiency, building energy efficiency. Okay, that's all from my side. So this project, it's of course not finished. hopefully we next coming heating season, we will do number of the tests and research on that. So thank you.
Have any question? We will have one question. Because we have time limitation.
Yes, different metal and wood, so different materials, and of course strength. The things was the different, and metal is also big bring big challenge for the thermal bridge. So the idea was first idea was that in in the especially in the gate area, the outside of the city, there is very unclear urban planning. So this house can move not for the long distance, but in the short distance, it's possible to move. We can transport it. That's why we selected the metal frame, but most of structures is the wooden frame. So, and we use those sheep wool insulation to make it more the green or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's the different structures or mixed elements bring bit better results. But the reason was that we're trying to make it more usable. If we build some brick, etc., it's when it's land ownership transferring for resettlement, etc. So then it's bring more costs. And from that we will use that mixed structures. So, thank you.
So our next presenter is Ms. Kim Ji-yoon. She is the principal researcher at the Urban Research Center, Seoul Housing Corporation.
Morning. Which one? Oh, okay. First of all, thank you for joining this early morning session. I didn't expect to have this many audience. Thank you for coming. I have very good memories from Mongolia, as I was involved in the EDCF affordable housing project in Ulaanbaatar for several years, from the project selection to feasibility study. So I am very excited to have this opportunity to talk about keys to sustainable affordable housing in Korea and implications for Mongolia. Before I present the topic, I would like to introduce Seoul Housing and Communities Corporation. It's a long name, so I will call it SH, Seoul Housing Corporation. SH is an housing and urban development corporation founded in 1989 with 100% equity investment by Seoul Metropolitan Government. It is currently the largest public rental housing provider in Seoul, supplying and managing about 70% of the city's public rental housing stock. It is similar to NOSC in Ulaanbaatar. But our business structure is very different from NOSC. So I will come back to this point later in my presentation. Anyway, over the past 35 years, SH has contributed to housing stability of Seoul citizens by providing 100,000 units of affordable for-sale housing and 250,000 units of public rental housing. So Korea is one of the few OECD countries that has expanded social rental housing over the past decades. The share of social rented housing as percentage of the total housing stock has expanded by 2.6% points from 6 point in 2010 to almost 9% in 2022. And as you can see in the chart, Korea is characterized by high share of public rental housing, in contrast to Netherlands or Austria, Denmark, and United Kingdom that are heavily relying on private sector social housing. So in Korea, about 60% of Korean households are homeowners and 40% are renters. And public rental housing serves more than 20% of rented households. In case of Seoul, more than half of households are renters. So percentage of renters are much higher than national average. In 2022, 16% of cities, Seoul's renter household live in public rental housing. That's quite a large portion. As you can imagine, in an very expensive city like Seoul, the expansion of public rental housing stock is an essential safety net for low-income households. In Korea, about 75% of public rental housing is provided by LH, Public Development Corporation under the central government. But in Seoul, Seoul is the only city where a local development corporation provides more public rental housing than LH. So SH provide almost 70% of public rental housing stock in Seoul, which amounts to 240,000 units. Of course, other local governments also have established public development corporations like SH, but most of them have relied heavily on LH in terms of public rental housing provision. So most of the local public corporation except SH do not really provide public rental housing by themselves. So this means that the supply of public rental housing is not simply achieved by establishing public development corporation, but rather by the will of the local government is very important. So how has Korea been able to keep supplying public rental housing over the past 35 years? First of all, Korea has recaptured land development gains through public development corporations like SH and LH. Public development corporations have generated significant profits by purchasing undeveloped land at low cost with the eminent domain permitted by the state and installing urban structure and then selling infrastructure-ready plots to private sector. All these were possible because because Korean government granted exclusive land development rights to public development corporations. And part of their development profits are paid out as dividends to their investor organizations. In case of LH, it is Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport. In case of Seoul, it's Seoul Metropolitan Government. So having a profitable public development corporation is good for central and local government. Korea is that example, the key example of that. And more importantly, LH and SH reinvestment our profits in the construction and operation of public rental housing for low-income households. In fact, Seoul Metropolitan Government decided to establish SH in 1989 because it wanted to recapture development profit from housing site development and use them to build much needed infrastructure in Seoul while during the rapid urbanization period. So some people may ask, has this monopolization of land development right put private sector at the disadvantageous position? I don't think so. On the contrary, in Korea, at least in Korea, for private companies tended to prefer purchasing infrastructure-ready plots because land acquisition and infrastructure construction processes are very costly and risky. And private housing developers have been able to avoid high risk of land development process and directly dive into profitable housing projects. So second key lies in the distribution of development gains among public development corporations, construction companies, and home buyers. The chart on the bottom left shows the distribution of the total development gains among those actors. Public development corporation takes only 3% of total development profit, and private construction companies 6%. And most of the development gains, over 90%, went to home buyers. This is mainly because Korean government controls the selling price of new homes in order to increase affordability for first-time home buyers. And please note that the home buyers' profit reflects the long-term difference between the government-controlled home sale price and market sale price. So on the bottom right side, another study estimated that home buyers enjoy the highest internal rate of return in the development projects. So some researchers have been arguing that home buyers' profits are excessive, and the public development corporations or government should be able to recoup more of the development gains from land and housing development projects. So this is always a contentious point in Korea. But important takeaway here for Mongolia is that Korea's public land and housing development system has created a win-win situation for the government, public development corporation, private construction companies, home buyers, and citizens in general who can enjoy the city's better infrastructure. So this kind of win-win structure has been key to successful affordable housing strategy in Korea. The third key is that Korea has established a sustainable source of funding called the National Housing Fund. Our second presenter, Professor Jin, briefly talked about this point. The main financial resource, let me explain a little bit more detail of this. The main financial resources of National Housing Fund are National Housing Bond and housing subscription savings, lottery fund contribution, and operation revenues. And for, let's see. National Housing Bond. In case of National Housing Bond, applicants for building permits and those entering into construction contract with government agencies are required to purchase National Housing Bond. So National Housing Bond is a significant source of revenue for the government because most mandatory buyers choose to sell the bond at a discount rate rather than holding it for a long term with very small interest. And second largest source of National Housing Fund is the housing subscription savings. It is a voluntary savings account that about almost half of the Korean population are enrolled in. So when applying for a new home or public rental housing, the length of time you have been saving and the amount you have contributed are factored into the eligibility and prioritization criteria. So that's why half of the population have this savings account in Korea. Also, this National Housing Fund provides below market rate loans to both home builders and consumers. So for builders, it provides low-cost loan to finance housing construction, helping to lower the housing supply costs. For first-time home buyers, it offers long-term below-market mortgage loans if they meet certain income thresholds. For renters, it also provides low-interest rental deposit loans. So the National Housing Fund has operated successfully for many years thanks to its stable and diversified financial resources and low-interest loan products that provide cost savings to both home providers and consumers. In Korea, starting with the government supply of 2 million homes in the early 1990s, almost all previous governments have pursued mass supply of public-led housing projects. Public-driven mass housing supply projects have received broad support in Korea because the benefits of, as I explained earlier, because the benefits of development have been widely distributed among very different sectors and people. Public development corporations have been pursuing a balance between profitability and public interest by generating profits through land development project and reinvesting them in expanding infrastructure and housing welfare. It is also worth noting that Korea has built a sustainable funding source called the National Housing Fund without any financial burden to the government. I believe that the combination of all these factors have made Korea's unique public-led affordable housing system sustainable for many years, for many decades. So finally, I think I have many questions, like to all of you, especially from Mongolia. How would you build sustainable, affordable housing policy and implementation system in Mongolia? I think all of you have been I lost the word. Have been interested in this topic for a long time. And what do you see? What kind of similarities and differences do you see between the Korea and Mongolia affordable housing system? For me, I have several years of I have participated for several years in the Mongolian housing projects. And my impression was that you have many great projects like ADB's Green Affordable Housing Project and EDCF also funding large affordable housing project. And whenever I go to some events, academic or professional events around the world, I always see Mongolian people actively promoting what they are doing and explaining and try to learn how you can make all these projects better. So that was very impressive to me. But at the same time, there are many things that Mongolia can do in the future, especially not in terms of a single project level. Each projects are great, but the problem that I see is that there has to be sustainable funding and implementation system in Mongolia. For example, can you generalize ADB's green affordable housing projects in all of the Mongolia? Or can you copy the same EDCF, the EDCF affordable housing project with the Mongolian funds? I wonder what will be your answers to these questions. Without sustainable system, each great project ends just as a project. So I believe today's session is meaningful because Korea and Mongolia try to collaborate, work together to find a better way to make this sustainable, affordable housing system for Mongolia. So, thank you.
Presenters, but now we have our discussion section, and our discussion section moderator is Mr. Kwon Yan-san, who is the professor of urban design lab at Seoul National University. Please come to the stage. And please come to the stage, all the presenters.
Okay, I'm Professor Young Sang-kwon of the Seoul National University. and welcome to the Korea-Mongolia Forum, Urban Forum. And as you know that the forum is collaborated with the main conference of the EU-3. EU-3 is located in outside of this room. And the reason why we mix up these two conferences is that except for the Korea in Mongolia, we learn about the Asian situation of the urban development and housing and sustainability. We're sharing many of the key issues of the Asian countries and the cities. So where we have the four presenters and the people we talk about that, there was a pre-announced that the question of the four presenters. I announced to all of your audience that the first one is relatively the Korean experience to urban planning and urban development. And second one is a sustainable and affordable housing solution for Ulaanbaatar. So my original plan is that about the first question, I asked to the Mongolian colleague, Dr. Kang Tulga and Professor Munkubaya, start about the understanding of the Korean experience of the two presenters of Professor Jin and Dr. Kim. And after that, the Korean presenters answer about the first, the Mongolian presenter's question. Is that right? Is that okay? Yeah, okay. And Dr. Kang Tulga, yeah.
So this is a kind of very unique questions. At this moment, in my experience in our project was, of course, that we are looking for all kind of international good practices to implementing in the country. So at this moment, so that was very good and interesting topics which we discussed in our presentation. So at this moment, also in our project, we are trying to initiating with this the green housing fund establishing in our the project which is under the Ministry of the Finance. So now we are just developing the all kind of green criteria, and also once the land is developed, how we initiate with how can corporate with the private sector. So that's kind of similarity which we are seeing that in the future in our country we will take a place.
Yeah, from my side, what I understood is we still missing some legal framework, especially for the housing, so that we need to consider and also need to cooperate to develop main concept of the legal documentation like a law for the housing. That's maybe the first things that we have to do. So and in Mongolia, we also have big issues for the urban planning issues. There is some plan, but to follow up that legal documentation, it's always somehow a problem. So hopefully that's also we need to consider on the future more such a affordable on green housing. So.
Okay, thank you. About the first, the agenda on the Korean experience to adapting to the Ulaanbaatar or Mongolian situation is a very subtle question. And I understand that because that these two countries and the cities, the condition is very different. So I think that the one nations or one countries, the legislation or the development or housing market is very different. I think that. So it is very subtle, and these two presenters and the professors, their major point is different. I think that the professor is concentrated on the architectural design or planning, and the major is about the housing development. So I think that these two opinion about adapting the Korean's experience to your country, and after that, I suggest that Professor Jin and Dr. Kim maybe summarize of the Korean's experience to adapting to Ulaanbaatar. For example, I asked Professor Chin about the urban development and the funding. You exaggerate that the funding is very important. And second one is Dr. Kim. I asked to that the public housing act or public housing policy in Seoul. Yeah.
Okay, so because the development experience in Korea, in particular Seoul, because I think that Seoul is more comparable to Ulaanbaatar city, and also the funding. We know that there is important sustainable way to keep continuing the momentum we have established for public rental housing. Then, as Dr. Kim mentioned in her presentation at the last slide, that creating sustainable funding sources is the key. Yeah, but I think the big challenge, as we know, is because, as I mentioned in my presentation, is that, for instance, we have already recommended maybe Mongolia can consider creating such as urban development fund or housing fund. So in that case, the reason Korea has been so successful is that basically it is along with the increase of our economy. Yeah, because for the past decades, as we know, that Korea has been successfully improving the economic status from underdeveloped country to developed nations. That economic change and also the overall income increase on average that has made individual level, household level, they can afford to invest some portion of their income into their housing savings account. That's what we are recommending to create in case of Mongolia, and also for providing more public housing. So I don't have a magic answer to do that. So because as we saw from our presentation, that we need to create diverse funding sources instead rely on one single, such as we maybe encourage Mongolian people the importance of housing. Yeah. So as we know, if you, because all people here been to Ulaanbaatar, that you can see majority of housing stock is relying on still the ghetto area. Yeah. So try to make a better living condition for them. We need to be encouraging for those people. They need to, even that small amount, they should, so maybe instead of, again, in case of Korea, in case of Korea's experience, we didn't make that as a requirement. That is kind of voluntary system. So including me, I also have a savings account for application for a new housing or public rental housing, but it was just very voluntary. But in case of Mongolia, I think the situation is different. Again, because the economic status is different. The other one is because population size. Yeah, Korea is more than 50 million, but Mongolia is now slightly about 3.5 million inside population. Because when population size is very large, we can see economic scale and those funding source large amounts. That is important key difference. So again, for Mongolia, that for funding sources, instead of just voluntary, I think maybe we need to more, how can I say, not really enforcement or requirement, but we need to maybe incentivize them to create some account or some maybe some system. So individual level, household level, they are willing to save some portion of their maybe income for create that large size of funding sources. That is important thing. And the other thing that is also related to those public domain. the public development corporation as we have SH and LH. So there, I have my student who is from MCUD, and I talked with the Dolger. She has been dealing with the financing issue for MCUD for a long time. Now I have consulted with her. What would be the key and implementable action item for dealing with this issue? One thing I learned and I discussed with my student Dolger is that because maybe Mongolia can consider property tax reform that is for land value capturing in property development. Yeah. What we learned from investigation of the legal system in Mongolia, and also what I learned from my student is that Mongolian legal system, current exit system, doesn't have a power authority to capture the land value increase or property value increase that is typical after investment in certain areas. So we have, I mean, in South Korea, we have many through system. In case of when public sector, such as SHL is in charge of providing new land, such as a new town development or new housing project, public rental housing. Even private sector is in charge of creating and constructing new properties. Well, in many cases, property value has been increased. That's what we saw in Ulaanbaatar for the past few years. Property value has been increased so rapidly. So maybe we need to create some act and some implement system for public sector can get or gain some portion of that property increase through some property tax reform. That amount of increase gain we can use for again funding those sustainable big amount of funding sources. Eventually we can use for those public housing or other types of affordable rental housing project.
네. This is better. Public housing policy in Seoul. I don't think I have superpower to explain this complicated issue in 1 minute, but I can propose an important principle when you think about public rental housing in Mongolia and Seoul. We have always combined profit-making public projects with affordable rental housing projects. Not just in the large land development project, but even in the redevelopment project in the existing cities. For example, if Seoul City provide density bonus to private developers, 50% of that density bonus has to be provided as public rental housing. So combining profit-making project or scheme with public rental housing has been a key principle in Seoul. And I have many things to say, but essentially, I believe good solutions come from good questions. So today I wanted to raise 2 questions. First, you talked about Green Housing Fund. It's nice to hear that you are trying to build a sustainable funding source by yourselves. So I think that's a very good move. And related to that point, the question that I wanted, that the key issue that I have is that can that Green Housing Fund or any kind of fund be sustained without excessive financial burden on the government side? So the Korea National Housing Fund was successful because government have not this burden to contribute with their budget. So I think that's the important point. And secondly, I have met many people from NOSC and TOSC, and I always think about what will these housing agencies be in the next 10 years? What will they do? So the question is, will they be budget consuming agencies? Or will they be profit making agencies for Ulaanbaatar or Mongolia? So I think NOSC and TOSC have to have that vision of what kind of agency they are going to be in the future. Otherwise, they will be just doing project from Ulaanbaatar or Mongolia, and then one day they may disappear. So I think these two, in terms of funding and actors, these two are the main key questions that Mongolia has to keep asking. And Korea, you can find many good implications from Korea's experience. Thank you.
Okay, we have shortest time, so I will summarize of these two expertise, summary of the Korean experience. The first one, before I summarize that, I have a very strong question about if we use that the global funding, such as that the EDCF, ODA, and I think that it is not sustainable to Mongolia. So to generate that the public housings with that sustainability, I think that these many kind of the policies and plans to supply that the public housing, and the first one is exaggerate the funding source, but in Korea, the funding source is from, I think that is from tax. Is it right? No, not, yeah, yeah. And the funding source is very important. Some of them will be come from the tax. Yeah, I'm not just something that, but funding source is one, and the second one is the public development. You call it that new agency for supplying this kind of the public housings. Third one is with the act, incentive, such as incentive. Dr. Kim announced about that when redevelopment of the inside of the Seoul, in case of that, the local government give them some incentive, build more housings, and after that, half of them should be supplied to that public housing. So in this case, the local government need not using their tax or their budget and their funding. Only the regulations can supply that the public housing. It's very effective, I think, because I'm the committee of the Seoul, of the Seoul. So the first is these two expertise not mentioned about that. The private stakeholder about the professors over there from the Chicago, you ask. Professor Chin announced that the PPP, the importance of the PPP project. So I think that the private stakeholder could be supplied some the public housings, I think. So I summarize this kind of the four categories to supplying the public housings experience of Korea. And the second agenda is about the sustainable and affordable housing solutions for Ulaanbaatar is our second the agenda. We move to the second one. And in this case, these two Ulaanbaatar expertise announced that the Ulaanbaatar solution. Professor Munkubaya suggested the solar heat housing project, and Kang Tulga needed redevelopment of the old gallery district. So I asked two Korean expertise, Professor Jin and Dr. Kim, could you answer, could you experience about that, these two Ulaanbaatar solution for the sustainable development in your experience and your thought on the worldwide the standard of that sustainable development. Yeah, from the professor.
So you're talking about sustainable development, such as greenhousing project. Yes. So, well, another big challenge we didn't really mention throughout our project, our presentation is air pollution issue in Ulaanbaatar, right? Yeah. So the main motivation behind we are trying to implement, even that is we need to invest more because it's very costly. But the reason we try to create those green housing projects, even for affordable housing, is because another very significant issue of Ulaanbaatar is the air pollution issue. If you've been to visit Ulaanbaatar in particular winter time, you can smell the smokiness that's mostly from those ghetto areas. So it's a very difficult question to answer here. But as we know, there is a global agenda to meet for addressing the climate change. Every country has NCD, nationally determined contribution portion for reducing the carbon footprint. So and carbon emissions. I think the green housing project is one such effort to meet that global agenda. So the reason I'm kind of hesitating to answer this is because I do not have a really great solution to do this. So one example that Korean society has been doing for meeting that international goal is we have created a new law. There's a Green Architectural Act that was created in 2013. So we have experience about more than 10 years of implementing that act. So that is basically encouraging and incentivizing and also enforcement for creating more housing and building and all the building environment to be more sustainable, to reduce basically those carbon footprint and carbon emissions. Yeah. So because I already mentioned the importance of creating the legal act, such as we need to create maybe some housing acts for providing those affordable housing. But the same answer to this is maybe Mongolia can also implement those green housing maybe acts plus a legal framework. Again, I'm not a legal expert, but I think the reason I'm again emphasizing the importance of legal implementation, in particular for developing country, is that because again, I belong to International School of Urban Sciences. We have specialized in those international collaboration, in particular for collaborating with countries and cities and people from developing countries. Is that, as we know, the most significant challenges and difficulties is most developed country is their political situation is not stable. We should admit and understand that situation. So for instance, we can implement a certain project, right? Certain idea when there is some good leader. However, after election, maybe no new leader or sometimes internal conflict. If the new president came, maybe they or the new regime can change their mind. So to continually sustain this initiative for long term, the creating certain new act or some legal framework is very essential. Yeah. So if you reflect the Korean history after Korean World War, Korean War that was ended in 1953, for the more than 70 years, when they implement new project a new idea, such as urban development, urban redevelopment, that is always along with a certain new act to implement the system. So of course, creating that new act is very difficult, and it is very challenging. It takes sometimes more than 3 or 5 years. Yeah. However, after creating that act, we have to follow that act even after political regime changes. So as we know, Mongolia has results of the recent rural election. Yeah, so there are a lot of implications, as we know, that because it is one of the first election, the number of the parliament members has been increased to 126. And also in terms of parties, there are several parties again, more members. Yeah, so I believe this is I'm not a kind of political person. I cannot assess that is good or bad for Mongolian future, because the one thing I can see from that election result is at least it has more diversification. We can see from those elections. I think that is a really good sign for creating this kind of new legal framework for the future of Mongolia. So that's the answer to this kind of the issue.
This is very difficult question, but I want to be honest on this topic because green affordable housing, I think that is an ultimate luxury and something that is unattainable. Of course, ADB's loan condition was green affordable housing, so you have to follow that condition. But in general, can Mongolia keep producing green and affordable housing with their own source? I don't think even Korea can do that. So it's like a dream project that is likely to finish it will be successful, that project will be successful, but it will be hard to duplicate in other sites in Mongolia. So for me, in terms of energy efficiency, density is I think density is key because there are many green technologies we can use for housing, like solar panels or heat pump and everything, but most of them are still unstable and expensive. But if you reduce energy consumption by raising density of housing, it is much cheaper to achieve. So in terms of a green approach, I think it does not have to be green technology, but the focus for me, I think focus has to be on the how to reduce energy consumption with building design. I think that's the key to green affordable housing. So.
Okay, we should wrap up this session because that we have only 5 minutes left. So if there is any question from floor, I'll check only one. If possible. Okay, and I suggest that 1 minute. I give you 1 minute, but today is that the session and your feeling and your understanding about and your next step for your work or your development in Mongolia. Yeah.
So I think today's platform is very good and very unique opportunity to highlight so many important topics which we're discussing at this moment. And our project is one of the ice-breaking project, introducing the green technologies, green fundings, and affordability, resettlement, all the kind of challenging steps. But I would like to highlight my the conclusion wise. I don't want to miss one point which we need to highlight here. So in Mongolia, the heating system wise is almost free. So we do have some state the controlled, the power plants in the city. That's why the heating system is the tariff wise, it's a state fixed tariff, almost free. And then even the green solutions, everything, for example, our buildings like performing 20% less energy, but we cannot monetize those kind of savings because of those fixed tariff. In apartment units, for example, the heating tariff is based on the square meter wise, not the usage wise. So those kind of, the key challenge which we have at this moment. In the future, we will try to tackle those kind of, the tariff issues in the future by policy making. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because I'm a professor working at university, so the key mission for university is education. So I want to conclude my comment with the importance of education. In this room, there are several Mongolian students who is coming from Mongolia to learn about Korean experience for doing this. So I can see that when I work with many projects, that younger generation in particular, then they have a passion and motivation for changing their society and a lot of things. So again, because housing issues are not only a problem for Mongolia, all the countries have some issues, always housing, very difficult challenges. So, but I think because Mongolian young generation in particular, they are really learning very hard and they have good motivation. So I can feel the changes. And as we know, that we have very close relationship. I mean, when I say we, between Korea and Mongolia, in many aspects, as we know. So I think that I really hopeful that we will see a lot of positive changes in housing and urban issues in Mongolia. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So my key message was that sustainability of the building or housing, it's one of key factors that the operation cost. So the nZEB concept is we trying to reduce the operation cost as less as possible. So as you know, the Mongolia, we're using a lot of money for the heating, but in apartment it's different case. But the kind of single or multifamily houses, they demand-based payment, which is quite high. So nZEB, we're trying to reduce the operation cost. It makes that buildings more sustainable, maybe more affordable if we're looking for it from the life cycle cost side. So thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to get updated about what is going on in Mongolia. Like, I have been interested in green affordable housing projects and EDCF project and the new technologies that Mongolia is trying to test. So it was very informative and interesting session for me too. And I hope you enjoy rest of the sessions and rest of the stay in Korea.
Final comment is for mine. Okay, this session will be closed, and after 5 minutes from 35, there's a next session will be proceed in this place. Is about transportation. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much.
The presenters, please come to the stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start to our next session. And for this session, our moderator, Professor Lee In-yoon, will be in the charge. So let's invite him.
분들은 안에 밖에 계신 분 좀 들어오시라고. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah. So we are ready to start the second session of the Korea-Mongolia Urban Forum. So I'm Ian Gun, a visiting professor at Seoul National University, and I will moderate this session. I'm really appreciate you attending here. This session aims to the challenges and opportunities for sustainable development in Mongolia, focusing on transport sector. We will share our insight on the transport-related issues, policies, projects, and strategies. We have some good presentations lined up today, and I'm looking forward to the discussion that follow. I will briefly introduce plan of this session. We have 4 presenters from Korea and Mongolia. Each will deliver around 15 minutes presentation. From the floor, please save your questions and comment until the end of each talk. After each presentation, we'll have about 5 minutes for question and answer. Once all presentations are done, we'll open the floor for more free-form discussions. Now, let me introduce our first speaker, Mr. Kim Hong-kwon. He is the Director of the International Project Development at Korea National Railway. He has a master's degree in international logistics and has been with Korea National Railway since 1997, working on projects like high-speed rail in Korea, Brazil, and United Arab Emirates, and China. His presentation title is Today and Future Mongolia Railway with Korea National Railways. Please join me to welcome him.
Thank you, Professor Mr. Lee In-gun. And before my presentation, I'd like to congratulate the first Mongolia Korea Urban Forum 2024. Is that right? Thank you. And also from my field in the railway industry, there are lots of my friends from he's eating door engineering, Mr. Lee, and yes, he is working for engineering part, and also procurement part from Hyundai Rotem, Mr. Kim Hee-chan. Yeah, thank you so much. And also construction part, there is from Samsung Construction and Trading. Yes, Mr. Song and his colleague. Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here to present my topic. It is very nervous for me because it is not very much, not many to present to the academy auditorium. So I'll try my best. There are some Mongolian pronunciation, so I need some Miss Ulaanbaatar. 4 words you can remember. First one, Ulaanbaatar, and second one, Haruhorum. The third one will be the Sembetano and Bayata, right? Please pronounce the 4 things. Ulaanbaatar,
Ulaanbaatar,
Haruhorum,
Haruhorum,
and Sembetano, Bayata. Sembetano is one, right?
Assembly.
Sembetano.
No.
Yes. Good morning. Yes, Sam Beno is right. My topic is today and future Mongolia Railway with KNR. My presentation will be divided into three topics. First of all, I'd like to introduce my company, and second one is we have to know about very important Mongolia Railway, and also its challenges. Lastly, I'd like to introduce future cooperation, collaboration between Mongolia and Korea. This session, this topic is about Korea National Railway. I'll briefly show you. I'd like to introduce Korea Railway Organization. As you may know, there was a big structural challenges in 2004. At the time, we celebrated Operation high-speed rail between Seoul and Busan. After that, we organized it from government to this structure. MOLIT means Ministry of Logistics, Infrastructure, and Transport. We can call it in short, MOLIT. MOLIT is responsible for railway policies and plans, investment programs, safety regulations. And under MOLIT, there are several, construction management for KNR. KNR is responsible for railway construction management and infrastructure management. We divided operation into two organizations. One is Korea. Traditionally, Korea has responsible for railway operation and rolling stock management. In 2014, we made SR. SR also the second operator for high-speed rail operation. And also we have an institute called KRRI. KRRI is responsible for Research and Development Institute of Railway Technologies. I'd like to introduce Korea National Railway. KNR, in short, is a fully state-owned railway infrastructure manager, launched in 2004. Former names was changed from the government. Our annual budget amounts to $8 billion US. And also, we have credit rating with the same as Korean government, like Moody's and S&P. Our employees are 2,200. Korean National Rail Network amounts to 4,304 kilometers of railway, and also about 80% of it electrified. This year is very meaningful year because we have 130th anniversary from the opening the first National Railway Bureau, and also 20th anniversary from the opening high-speed railway in 2004. Lastly, we have also 50th anniversary. We opened Seoul Metro in 1974, August. Some of my friends here are very interested in Mongolian Railway, and I'm also excited to introduce Mongolia railway challenges also. From MRTD, he knows very well, I think. Mongolian Railway Organization, as I mentioned earlier, Korean organizations, I'd like to introduce Mongolia Railway organizations. Like Korean government, MRTD, Ministry of Road and Transport Development, is responsible for the policies, investment, like that. Under MRTD, there are two railway entities. One is Mongolia Railway, called MTG, and also there is Ulaanbaatar Railway, called UBTG. UBTG, I'd like to introduce first UBTG. UBTG is a long history. Established in 1949 to construct Trans-Mongolia Railway. It's a Mongolia-Russian joint venture company. Mongolia has 50% of stake. Russia has the 50% of stake. It's a big company. Employees are 15,600. UBTG owns TMGL line and the small branch line, and also, famous coal mine is Choibasan line. And also, there's a Mongolia Railway called MTG. MTG is established in 2008. It's a 100% state-owned enterprise. Their role is to construct new railway and rail asset management. Historically, I'd like to congratulate MTG to make its own railway to 900 kilometers. This is a Mongolia Railway Network Plan. Yes. You can see the TMGL line in the center of the Mongolian territory. From north, in TSL station Ulaanbaatar. Ulaanbaatar is north of the Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar, and also to the south, it goes to the China Tianjin seaport. It is very important line. And also it goes through Ulaanbaatar city, the capital city. As I mentioned earlier, UBTG manages this existing TMGL line. There are two lines, TMGL and like you see the Korean letter, existing line, Choibasan line. MTG, Mongolian Railway, has launched in 2008. After that, they announced Mongolian Railway new plan from first phase, second phase to third phase. You can see here, first phase in marked in red line to the west. You can see there Taban-Tolgoi, Jumbayan, Shanshan, Kot, Hut, Choibasan to the TSR line. Second one is you can see here in blue-green is there is a Gobi Desert in the center in the southern south, and also Gobi Desert has a lots of natural mineral resources there. So they are planning to export the coal mine to China, to the south. The third phase is in blue. You can see the westward of Mongolia. I would like to say also one more thing. There is a TKR in Korean Peninsula. After changing some political conflicts between north and south, I have a dream to connect TKR to the TMGR. This is Ulaanbaatar urban transport plan. Ulaanbaatar city, as you know, the city of Mongolia has been rapidly growing over the 20 years. Ulaanbaatar city also has experienced a number of urban challenges such as air pollution, traffic congestion, population concentration. In order to become a world-class capital city, Ulaanbaatar wants to develop urban transport system. There are 3 directions, as you can see here, east and west line, and north to south line, and also circular line. This is studied by a Korean engineering company in 2011, and also proposed 3 lines: east-west, horizontal axis, vertical axis, and circular line. We have good news that Korea consortium with Doha, Susong, and Korea has won the product management consulting services for this Ulaanbaatar metro. Last week, we had a ceremony in Ulaanbaatar city in Mongolia. It is difficult to pronounce, but you know, the Ulaanbaatar helped me to say again.
하루흐름.
Louder, please.
하루흐름.
Yes, I can catch that. 하루흐름 in Korean. You can find the name 하루흐름. 하루흐름 new city plan. This is the new capital city called 하루흐름 has started from December 22 by the President decree. It is located about 340 kilometers to the west from Ulaanbaatar city. From MRTD knows very well, but if you need more information, you can ask MRTD, or the find the lower right. You can find the QR code. You can directly access to the information. 하루흐름 was the ancient capital during the reign of famous Emperor Genghis Khan in the 13th century. It was the hub city of world civilization, politics, and economics at the time. But you know, being that, yes, no time. Yes, I'll explain briefly. In February 2023, the urban planning administration of new 하루흐름 city was established by Mongolian government. For more information, scan QR code. The plan has 2 phases. First phase is preparation phase, this year and next year. The second phase is implementation phase, will be till 2030. Now, the conceptual master planning project of the new city is going on the international open bidding now. On your upper right of the slide, you can see Haroram Outer Transport Network Plan. The transportation plan includes a high-speed railway between two big cities, road construction and international airport. Mongolian Railway wants to do the feasibility study of the new railway line between Ulaanbaatar and the new Haroram capital city. Mongolia Railway have maintained a close cooperative relationship. I would like to explain cooperation history and future consideration. Mongolia Railway and KNR have actively cooperated in many aspects. Support Mongolian Railway Network Plan, technical support of Taban-Tolgoi-Jumbayan Railway, and we held Railway Academy in Mongolia. And also we had signed the railway cooperation MOU with MTZ. This is a railway project now. Based on the cooperation and trust built up so far, meaningful big railway projects are being carried out by Korea. First one is to supply signal and telecom system in Taban-Tolgoi-Jumbayan line. Mongolian government has constructed 415-kilometer long Taban-Tolgoi-Jumbayan line for the first time by itself. Mongolian Army constructed track bed under KNR technical support. And finally, Taban-Tolgoi-Jumbayan line is operating successfully. The second one is the Railway Traffic Control Center by Korean ODA. Railway Traffic Control Center is to manage all the train operations in Mongolia. Korean government has granted funds for this project. It is to construct traffic control center and supply the railway traffic control system by 2026. As I mentioned earlier, PMC now contracted with Korean consortium. Today, I have shown you Mongolian rail network plan, Ulaanbaatar metro plan, and also there's a westward PPP project, and also Haroram high-speed railway. But Mongolian government has limited capital to cover the ambitious railway plan, costing tens of billions of dollars. It means that foreign countries, public and private sector investors should have to make up the financial gap. There are several ways to make up financial gap. I'd like to introduce shortly. G2G cooperation in big picture. We need to find a way to win-win strategy on the big picture of trans-Korean railway and Korea unification. The second one is package deal on railway EPC. We need EPC contractor, and it means engineering, procurement, construction. EPC contractor provide railways as a full turnkey basis and then paid by Mongolia's natural resources instead. The third one is EPCF. The EPC contractor can also arrange financing for the project through financial instrument. The arrangement has to be set out in the bilateral agreement between the two governments. Last one is PPP investment. This year is the meaningful year for Mongolia PPP industry. PPP law implemented from this year. Public-private partnership is vital to make a feasible
financial structure. It includes operation for 30 years as well as construction. Let us make the win-win opportunity happen to investment big deal between Mongolia Railway and Korea Railway. Thank you. Bye.
And thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Now, let's move to some question and answer time. If anybody has questions or suggestions, please do not hesitate. Who will go on the first? No questions? No. Right. Even though he's from Korean National Railway, he covered Korean side and also Mongolian side as well. And he proposed various cooperational projects between the two countries. Thank you for your presentation. And I will invite next speaker. So next speaker will be Oyundelge Babudochi. She worked for the Mongolian government for more than 20 years. He joined the government in 1999 and worked for the ministries of road and infrastructure, national development and innovation. And her last position was Director General of Road Policy Implementation and the Coordination Department until last year. And she's now is project coordinator for Mongolian Transport, Connectivity and Logistics Improvement Project. Please welcome her with big hand.
Thank you, Professor Lee. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, I'm Oyundelge. So today I will present the Ulaanbaatar city's road transport infrastructure, current situation, and development policy issues. So let me start my presentation. So my presentation consists of what's the Ulaanbaatar road transport infrastructure challenges and the factors affecting the current situations. Also actions taken to address challenges, and also policy aimed at improving the situations. So as you see that slide, they have some brief statistics about the Ulaanbaatar city. From first graph, you can see that the population increased dramatically, increasing the Ulaanbaatar city. For example, 1990, we had only 596 million people. Now in 2022, we have almost 1,006,000 population. So Ulaanbaatar's area is 3,735 square kilometers, and also population almost 47% of the total population living in Ulaanbaatar, and also GDP growth after Ulaanbaatar is almost 64% from the country. Also, we have dramatically increased vehicles, and total vehicle of 56% total vehicles in Ulaanbaatar city now. Also, we have universities and colleges. Almost 97% of the total universities located in the Ulaanbaatar city. Also, secondary schools, we have 33% of the secondary schools located in the Ulaanbaatar city. Okay, so As previous section, you know about the Mongolian, what's the gate areas, gate area. Percentage of population living apartment housing, gate area, you can see that graph. 45% 45% people living in the apartments and 54.5% living in the area. Okay, we have in Ulaanbaatar city 430 million total households. Working age population is almost 64.2% living in working age population living in Ulaanbaatar city. 47.9% total number of children living in Ulaanbaatar. Also, we have a labor force, total percentage of labor force, 38.1% is living in Ulaanbaatar city. So today I will present just only focusing the road infrastructure issues. You know, of course, in Ulaanbaatar city, we have a railway infrastructure, logistics centers, and airport infrastructures. So why am I'm only presenting road sectors means road infrastructure is very, how can I say, which shoulder significant burden in our city's infrastructure. So Ulaanbaatar city's total network is 1,180 kilometers. The road network density is 0.2. Main and secondary roads and the streets, we have 790 kilometers. In the residential area, we have 470 kilometer roads. You know that the road density is notable, very low compared to other cities. For example, in Seoul city have a 12.7 kilometers per kilometer, and Tokyo has 90 kilometers per kilometers, like that. So of course, in our transport infrastructure issue, we have a lot of issues. For example, lack of road networks. You see that our density is very low. Road density is very low. Our road network is have a railway crossing it is some very lack developed, and extensive missing links we have. Lack of network connectivities. For example, there are many U-turns at the intersections causing traffic congestions. Of course, the traffic management issues we have. We have in the total 480 intersections in the city, 150 intersections of which 39% are not signalized because of some budget shortage. Congestion is the district areas also, of course, because of not enough space on the living roads. And we have also parking problems. There are no parking plans in district, and people park on the roadside due to insufficient parking area. They have some constructed many buildings. Also, we have a lack of connectivity with the main roads. Apartments are building without consideration as excess traffic from to main roads. As a result, there's generated much street traffic. Congestion public facilities. School pickup and drop-off peak traffic increase volume and generate congestions. You know, Ulaanbaatar city is very unique. So especially in school starting from September, and just now is the vacation, summer vacation. So from September to June, the very peak in our road network because of the children's and the students there. In the summer vacation, all of students living in the Ulaanbaatar cities and also school children have a vacation, so not so much crowded, but still there have some congestions issue. Okay, we have challenges, problem challenges. One of the priorities of the government of Mongolia is solve traffic congestion in Ulaanbaatar city. You can see that pictures how the congestion occurs in Mongolia, UB city. Actually, average travel speed city has decreased since 2000. Now ranging from almost 60 to 20 kilometers per hour. And during peak hours, more worse, 9 to 13 kilometers per hour. And we have almost one day we have almost 2.9 million daily trips, which 64% being private cars and 44 buses, and the reminder on the foot and bicycles. You can see the buses is not usable because of the lot of private cars. Also, public transportation is not so good. That's why the buses use the small amount they have. They have some interesting study, which is they have shown that the economic impact congestion amount total loss is 2.96 trillion Mongolian annually, and 745 billion Mongolian tugrik time cost, and 938 billion tugriks fuel cost because of congestion, and 1.4 trillion due to inefficient source allocations. Also, the socially congestion result loss 353 hours per year, including 223 hours spent family matters and 130 hours children's education. Moreover, because of the people spend a lot of time in the congestion, they have, according to that issues, 3,236 divorce annually. The research says like that. So it is that factors. Also, the social stress is reported at 90.2%, 4% like that. As you know, Ulaanbaatar is one of the most polluted capital cities in the world. You can also see the pictures how the polluted in Ulaanbaatar. You can see that 10% of air pollution is caused by the vehicles. The most use polluted causes from the gear areas, almost 90% like that. Also, increasing the road crashes damaging economic competitiveness of the cities. It was reported that 5,460 road traffic crashes happened in 2022. 21 deaths per 1,000 population. The road traffic crash number makes 96.7% total crashes happened in Mongolia. Also, of course, the public transportation sector, Ulaanbaatar faces difficulties providing adequate services. The city's low density, expensive land use, limited road network, and congestion create challenges efficient public transport. Ulaanbaatar, we have a no rail-based mass transit, bus, rapid transit services, also metro, such kind of the mass transit we have not. Also, Ulaanbaatar urban mobility system is crafted by more frequent and severe natural hazards. You can see it's the heavily damaged clothes, and also winter time they have some road covered ices, and there's people sleeping. And they have a no sewerage system, drainage system is not working well. Not well constructed that drainage systems. Also, urban transport sector challenges described above hurt vulnerable and low-income population. This population, for example, on the Gir area, the only 10% of the roads that Gir area are paved. The second picture is that they have a paved. On the first picture is a paved road. We have a paved road, and second picture is no paved road. It means only 10% of the road Gir area paved. Of course, we have improving infrastructure challenges. We have policies and planning. For example, we have three high-level related policies: long-term development vision, 2050, also 5-year development policies. Mongolia, we have the long-term development vision action plan for 2021-2023. Also, we have UBC to urban planning master plan, and also congestion policy and planning. It's quite new policy we have. And according to that planning and policies, we have a lot of goals. For example, they have many goals. So if you're interested, maybe next time you can, let's see. Of course, we have some actions. Of course, we have to not sitting that quietly. We have to make it some actions. For example, improving the road networks we have, and also land discussion with widening and building new roads, re-engineering of the junctions, improving parking, a lot of construction and management, also establishing walking and cycling paths. Also, we have a soft policy such as sitting limit on vehicle registration in Ulaanbaatar, restricting the import of all the vehicles, limiting issuance the number of plates. We have such kind of soft policies. But still not achieving efficient result from the previous planning and the policies. There have some changes, of course. We have improved Ulaanbaatar transport infrastructure, but they are not sufficient. Very slow progress. We cannot achieve successfully our target and policy goals in planning. Why we are? My thinking is that we have a not systematic and comprehensive policy and planning. The issue of the urban road transport infrastructure is not solely concerned the road transport sector. They also encompass urban planning and health, education, industry, environment, and social economic sectors. Politically influenced also, the previous presenter also say that we have some political issues every time changing. We cannot follow the previous policy and planning every time changing. It's too bad for the achieving our goals and targets. Also, we have to just introduce modern technology and materials, also improving our regulation guidelines, and of course, quality. We have improved the quality of road construction and the maintenance works. Main important thing is they have a lack skilled and knowledgeable human resource we have. uh, 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 because this is not road transport sector issues. All the many sectors issues we have to combine to get sitting together and make a comprehensive planning. Okay, that's why I'm just very briefly, deeply describe our problem is. I'm just seeking some solutions from researchers and professors. Maybe we will make the future cooperation, and sitting together, we have to learn from Korean universities. That's why I'm just focusing on the road sectors issues. And so the last recommendation is we have to just make a good cooperation, and we have to learn from the Korean universities and professors. So that's my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Right, any questions to Oindarger? Yes?
Yeah, the public transportation now is very worse. That's why the Ulaanbaatar municipality is decided to make building the metro. But we have to concentrate. Our population not so much bigger compared to Seoul. Like maybe implementation process is okay. Maybe your operation process might be they have some difficulties. For example, the metro is very expensive, and also it's very difficult. So according to previous, so now we have a plan, sub-district plan for separating the separating the conjunction. So according to the separation, it is not suitable for the metro. We actually in our Ulaanbaatar we have sub-districts. We are developing the sub-districts. They have if we too much separation, it will be difficult for metro operation stage because of the it's very expensive. Of course, according to we have to focus road infrastructure. It's not so much how can I say priorities. We have to simultaneously thinking about two issues.
Any other questions? But should be concise, please.
We have not extra. We have the transportation plans, but we have not extra metro plans. We have not. Yeah, especially master plans for. It's just belongs. We have previously I mentioned that we have three main policies. According to the policies, they have already indicated. They have some transportation. Planning. So
I thank you, Oyun Delge, for your presentation. And also, I'm really surprised from her presentation, because Ulaanbaatar, they suffer severe congestion, but this congestion caused more than 3,200 divorces annually. It's remarkable. And also, I'm very interested how to count, this, how to have this number. Thank you. And our next speaker is Kim Soo-jin. He's from Seoul Housing and Communities Corporation. He's the principal transport specialist. Since he got a first degree in 1999, he worked for transport specialist from 2000 and urban planning consultant at various consulting firms. From 2019, he joined Seoul Urban Solutions Agency. And he will present on urban transportation management of Seoul. So what the experiences of Seoul case. So the floor is yours.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet such a distinguished group of members. My name is Soo-jin Kim. I work at Seoul Urban Solution Agency as a principal transportation specialist. Today, my presentation topic is on the urban transportation management in Seoul. The presentation will consist of 6 subtitles. Before I dive into the presentation, I give you an overview of the city in Seoul. Seoul is the capital and by far the largest city in Korea. It is enveloped by Gyeonggi and sits next to Incheon metropolitan city. So this entire region is referred to as the Seoul capital area, Korean says 수도권, and takes up 11.8% of the entire area of the country. while having 50% of the population living in here. Seoul itself is divided into 25 gu, Korean language. Gu is districts, a sort of district. It has a total population of around 9.6 millions. The annual budget of Seoul metropolitan government is around 26.9 billion US dollars. For references, Tokyo's annual budget is 357 billion dollar. Yeah, it is Tokyo's budget is 10 times of Seoul. This is traffic demand management. The Seoul metropolitan government has a number of measures to manage traffic demand. Measures such as the collection of traffic congestion charges are put in place to reduce traffic volume, as well as airborne microdust. In addition, the Seoul metropolitan government have been urging license plate number based driving restrictions. So it's not even and days of the week. Also, limitations on parking, eliminating free parking, and the reduction of traffic congestion charges. So, Seoul metropolitan government, they are going to a sort of inconvenience policies. So, the passenger cars, they are going to CBD, they have to feel inconvenience. So for example, high expensive parking fee. This is public transit system in Seoul. Seoul's urban rail system is shown in the figure on the left. All station to station travel is less than 10 minutes. And as the travel time of urban rail has decreased 10%, and the coverage area of urban rail service has increased 10%. The public transportation utilization rate has reached 68% to 72%. This has had the effect of reducing the cost of road congestion in Seoul by about 15%. So when I develop overseas project, in particular public transit system, so I'd like to suggest, do you have a budget of public transit? Do you have a budget of introducing on electric buses? So I would like to emphasize a budget and policies or institutions or and laws. The public is provided with convenience by managing real-time bus operations through a GPS BIT, bus information terminal. In turn, provide real-time bus location information to public transit users. Public transportation policies such as adjustment of bus routes are made more transparent and fair via automatic fare collection system and big data analysis. actually, Seoul metropolitan government, they wanna control or they wanna operate bus routes and bus driving operation. Also, bold measures such as installation of BRT, sort of central bus lanes, and modernizations of bus stops are improvements that ensure the long-term convenience of public transportation users. Seoul has also secured a total of 30 public transportation garages. The garages, the goal of garages is to maintain, wash, and inspect buses and so on. So regarding electric buses, Seoul has been gradually increasing the number of electric buses since 2018. Next is Seoul's transportation operations. Seoul's traffic signal operation applies the time of day method, so-called TOD method, which is operated by creating several patterns by time of day. It also utilized the inspection control method, which is applied by detecting and adjusting through a loop detector and media detectors. And finally, the real-time control method, which is controlled by establishing a signal time plan based on real-time traffic information collected. In parts bike, utilizing road diet processes, lanes are reorganized into sidewalks and changed into facilities for walking and bicycling. The safety of these facilities are ensured through speed control, signal operation control, and so on, including illegal parking. Yeah, next to green transportation. To implement green transportation, Seoul is gradually increasing its usage of electric buses and ride-sharing vehicles and designating green zones designed to reduce air pollution. In this pedestrian section, for secure pedestrian safety, so Seoul is implementing the Green Road Project, which will create 2,000 kilometers of green roads within its geographical limits by 2026. Seoul has also established the legal institutional basis for securing bicycle lane networks in its urban planning, land development areas, residential environment improvement area, and so on. As of 2022, Seoul has laid out 226.2 kilometers of bike roads along the Han River and other smaller streams. This is a Seoul Metropolitan's plan. By 2026, Seoul are going to install a total length of 92.6 kilometers of bicycle-only road, all of which will be done by dividing the city 5 districts. Finally, Seoul's smart transportation. As you know, the headquarters for Seoul Total Transportation Information Center, so-called TOPIS. TOPIS is shown in the photo on the left. Its website provides a real-time traffic condition, updates of construction information, real-time location information of buses, and shared public bike 따릉이's location of information, and CCTV video information of traffic conditions at major intersections. In addition, enormous data is made open to public 3.0 public that helps with various services related to public transportation. Such traffic as well as fare data are readily used as objective information for designing new bus routes adjustment, and public transportation policy decisions. Within the diagram shown here, this means location. So the size and thickness of the curves between each point is a geographical indicator of public transportation demand. So the lines with the thicker demand is bigger. The big data is also used to set the headway of buses because it can analyze not only the origination and destination data of buses, but also the concentration rate of passengers by time of day. Currently, Seoul is operating 3 services as a part of its smart transportation. So smart transportation initiative consists of 3. So one is big data service, and another is autonomous driving service, and the other is its cooperative intelligent transportation system, so-called CITS. What you see here in an example of Seoul's CITS. Yep, and this concludes the introduction to Seoul's transportation policies. I appreciate you listening to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujan, for your presentation. And he introduced various transport-related policies in Seoul, such as traffic management, demand management, public transit system, and transportation operation, and green and smart transportation. Anybody has questions to him? Right? Yeah. Please identify your name and affiliation.
Actually, I think smart facilities is not correct to developing traffic congestion in city. So I think it's the most important thing is that we have to prepare the developing the problem. We have to prepare logic for policies, institutions. We have to persuade the chief managers' decision making. We have to persuade them. Smart transportation facilities is just a tool, does not purpose. So, I think I'd like to recommend providing, would rather providing smart infrastructure. So, I'd like to recommend enhancing governance system.
Any other questions?
Thank you for presentation, and it's very interesting. And I think your organization is responsible for managing all kind of public transportation in Seoul. So my question is, where the Seoul Metro, you have very nice and very comfortable public system in Seoul. Does it generate enough the budget to operate? So does this Seoul Metro get some the state subsidiary funding or something, or is it just like finance itself?
Recently, as I mentioned, the public transit rates is including subway and bus. So the rate is 68% or 70%. And Seoul Metropolitan Government, they have been paying $200 million per year, just only public transit sector. The reason is that if we don't do that, we have to pay traffic congestion price. Traffic congestion price is more higher. So we have to, Seoul Metropolitan Government have been paying public transit budget.
Okay, thank you. If you have other questions, please reserve. We have some more time after all presentations. Thank you. And I'd like to invite our last speaker this morning, Dr. Jung Dong-un. He is the traffic accident researcher of Korea Road Traffic Authority. He studied urban engineering and traffic engineering at universities, and he completed his doctor's degree this year. Actually, he's a newly born doctor on traffic accident modeling expert. Right, he will talk about traffic safety and particularly on Mongolian automobile inspection ODA project. Dr. Jung, floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dong-hun Jung, an accident investigation researcher from Korean Road Traffic Authority. Today, I'll be talking about the traffic safety for the Mongolian automobile inspection ODA project. Let's dive into the details. In this presentation, we'll cover various aspects of traffic accident investigation and analysis in Mongolia. We will discuss the current status, technology used, policy recommendations, and future measures to improve road safety. The Mongolian ODA project is being conducted under the supervision of KOICA. The project titled Enhancement of Automobile Inspection Capabilities and Facility Improvements for Traffic Safety in Mongolia runs from 2023 to 2027. Sorry. TS, COTI, and COROAD are implementing measures to enhance traffic safety in Mongolia, including comprehensive policy consulting for 30 Mongolian national standards, and so on. For new regulations, we are introducing standards for high voltage devices, accident investigation, and more. The revised regulations include automobile registration-related contents and vehicle inspection standards. Our policy recommendations focus on improving automobile registration, strengthening automobile management, and enhancing accident investigation. Next, in part 2, we'll discuss the current status of traffic accident investigation and analysis in Mongolia. I will now explain on-site investigation. Currently, Mongolia uses analog measurement tools like rulers, resulting in limited precision. In contrast, South Korea employs advanced equipment like drone and 3D scanners for digital accident scene analysis. The state-of-the-art equipment like drones and 3D scanner help improve accuracy and safety in accident investigation. These tools reduce measurement errors and investigation time. Next, we'll discuss the current status of vehicle investigation in Mongolia and South Korea. In Mongolia, the NRTC Inspection Center is limited to repair cost estimation and cannot identify accident causes due to vehicle defects. On the other hand, South Korea conducts forensic accident analysis and defect investigation using digital driving information from DTG, EDR, and dashcams. In the case of South Korea, digital tachograph, we call DTG, data is collected to analyze the driving conditions at the time of the accident, and EDR information can be used to precisely analyze the vehicle speed, positional relationship, and trajectory to determine the cause of the accident. This slide details in status of vehicles equipped with EDR, event data recorders. The most Toyota and Lexus vehicles, which are widely imported into Mongolia, are equipped with EDR. This data is crucial for accident analysis and legal evidence. Actually, this is video, so we cannot watch the video. Just I tell the story. So this is a case study on traffic accident causes analysis through 3D simulation analysis. We can scientifically determine whether a fallen pedestrian is visible from the driver's viewpoint while making a right turn. Let's look at the current status of the statistics system in Mongolia and South Korea. Mongolia has an insufficient system for collecting and managing traffic accident statistics and needs a joint database. In contrast, South Korea uses a comprehensive system called TAS, which integrates data from the national police, insurance companies, and mutual aid association. TAS provides statistical analysis, GIS-based analysis, and public access to
traffic accident data, including statistical reports, educational children's tasks, and more. Now let's move on to part 3 of our policy direction and recommendation. To improve traffic accident investigation, we recommend establishing new investigation guidelines, part 4, building a national integrated database, part 5, and introducing joint investigation teams, part 6. Next, in part 4, we will discuss the improvement measures for traffic accident vehicle inspection. Firstly, new regulations are needed for detailed accident vehicle investigation. We propose developing vehicle investigation guidelines as part of the MNS, covering 11 aspects, including fault code investigation and accident data extraction. The second point is advancing vehicle investigation analysis techniques. This includes systematizing investigation procedures and developing comprehensive manuals for investigators. And a vehicle investigation flowchart and detailed investigation items are needed. This includes steps such as accident situation, confirmation, exterior and interior inspections, fault code investigation, and more. Make a checklist for each flowchart investigation items to ensure everything gets thoroughly checked. The table below is the checklist for the accident data recorder investigation. Additionally, develop an integrated manual linking the new MNS agenda with vehicle investigation procedures and detailed items, including specific guidelines for each investigation item. The table below contains detailed information on extracting EDR record information and inspecting DTG-equipped vehicles. The third point is enhancing vehicle investigation reports and competence. Standardizing reporting formats and strengthening education and training programs are crucial. Next, in part 5, we will discuss the collection and utilization of traffic accident statistics. I propose building a step-by-step traffic accident database system. First, establish the NRTC vehicle investigation database. Second, build the national integrated traffic accident database. Lastly, create a traffic accident in-depth investigation agency and database. First, establish the NRTC vehicle investigation database. Build a database to manage vehicle inspection and accident data, similar to Korea's KMUCC, which manages traffic safety and related information for compliance and safety analysis. Policy recommendations for the NRTC database are as follows. Second, develop a national integrated traffic accident database. We propose a central database similar to South Korea's TAS, integrating data from various sources. Third, establish a traffic accident in-depth investigation agency, a dedicated agency and supporting database system for thorough traffic accident investigations should be established. This agency will collect, integrate, and analyze detailed traffic accident data. Next, in part 6, we'll discuss identifying traffic accident causes and developing preventive measures. Expanding the scope of traffic accident investigation and introducing joint investigation systems are key steps. These measures will help in identifying accident causes and developing effective preventive strategy. First, expansion of vehicle factor investigation task in traffic accidents. Although Mongolia doesn't mandate DTG installation, it is necessary for high-risk commercial vehicles, as in Europe and America. Referencing South Korea's ETAS, we propose the following DTG enforcement policies. Second, Mongolia should introduce a joint investigation system for traffic accidents similar to South Korea's model. The team handles accident report, on-site investigation, cause analysis, and report preparation, and based on results, develops accurate accident cause analysis. Third, large-scale accident investigation are essential to identify major accident causes. Continuous improvements should follow based on these findings. The table below compares the system for investigating accident causes and post-accident measures in South Korea and the USA. Conducting large-scale accident investigations to identify causes of major accidents is essential. Continuous improvement measures should be implemented based on investigation findings. In conclusion, by implementing these recommendations, we aim to significantly improve traffic safety in Mongolia. The adoption of advanced technologies, improved investigation techniques, and comprehensive data management system will enhance the quality and accuracy of accident investigations. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang. He covers, about traffic safety in Mongolia. And any questions? Actually, I have one question to you.
Okay.
So traffic accident is very, important matters in urban area. And to reduce traffic accident in Mongolia, do you have any recommendations for urban planners in Mongolia?
So I think it is similar to, as I mentioned, the public transportation is almost same as the individual transportation. So I already mentioned I recommend the new investigation guidelines, and the public transport system, the database system is also needed. So finally, I think the joint investigation system from government and private is necessary to have an investigation about public transportation.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions? Right, if it's the case, I would like to invite 4 speakers in the podium, and we'll continue our further discussions. Take a seat. Take a seat over there. Actually, traffic congestion is very severe in Mongolia. Not in Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar. It became a social issue and also political issue. We had in Korea, we had a very severe traffic congestion in 1970s and 1980s. Yeah. We addressed these challenges with subway construction in Seoul, and also reasonably we overcome the traffic congestion now. And one example is from Seoul to Ulaanbaatar, it takes around 2.5 hours or 3 hours flight. But it may take around 3 hours from the airport to the city center if we are not lucky. And also there is one special minister in the government. His job is to reduce traffic congestion in capital area. So this traffic congestion and also transport services should be improved in the near future in Ulaanbaatar. Otherwise, Ulaanbaatar lost their competitiveness, I think. So this morning, we had from these 4 speakers, we have very good suggestions and insight to reduce traffic congestion in Ulaanbaatar, I think. So I'd like to invite any questions to these 4 speakers this morning, and also I'll continue to some further discussions. Any questions to these speakers? No? Right? Yeah, Dr. Chimet.
Thank you for your interesting question. As I mentioned earlier, Toa guys and me participate. Susang Engineering also, Korea also participated in the consortium for preparing the construction next year. The construction of Ulaanbaatar metro will start next year till it will open September 2030. It takes 5 years, or 5 years, right? 6 years. Yes, 5 or 6 years. We worried about at first because of almost all developing countries need time to start the plan, but and also we thought about the PMC project management consulting service contract. It was open tender, but it takes only 3 or 4. I know, but our PMC consulting services to select PMC contractor, it takes only 4 or 3 or 4 months. It really is a shortest time in the world, I think, because of your country has the the National Assembly, election last month. So you have a target to having launching the PMC contract by foreigners. So we won contract at the time. So I hope you are planning to the opening the operating Ulaanbaatar Metro. I think it will be successful because of our support from Korean, Canada, Korea support.
So it's really tough question, but it depends on the determination of the government. Will be the determination of the government will be the critical, because when you build subway in Korea, in Seoul, in early 70s, it took only 3 years to complete. But nowadays in Seoul, it will take up more than 6 years. And also the society is getting complex, so it's really difficult to determine and to decide the policies. Any other concerns to these speakers, right? Yeah.
Ulaanbaatar city has a plan to construct a metro. It is the first time in history in Mongolia, so they need some specialist support of specialists. You mentioned about Korea. In Korea, KNR has the lots of experience about the metro, intercity railway, or conventional, even more high-speed railway. So I'd like to recommend Ulaanbaatar city is the general contract agency. They need to have more plan to second Ulaanbaatar metro, third line metro. So they are having make a consortium 1-to-1, Korea consortium and Ulaanbaatar city officials. So you can accept the technology transfer naturally. So it is a good way to obtain the metro technology. I hope it is a good way to get the like Korean style.
Right. It's a really rare case and a rare opportunity to have experts from Korea-Mongolia in one place. So I'd like to ask our speakers about their opinion about the future traffic or transport services in Ulaanbaatar. Yeah? So the traffic or congestion condition will be better or not in the near future in Ulaanbaatar. So I'll ask you, the traffic congestion will be better in 5 years' time? It'll be better or 10 years' time, or it getting worse in short period or long term? So just, tell me your opinion and also explain why. Right. So, Oindelga, would you mind, tell us your opinion about the future traffic congestion in Ulaanbaatar?
Yeah, it's very difficult question for me now because previously I explained that we have a lot of planning and a lot of policies, but implementation is not so good. So maybe after the 5 years, situation will be not so much, but little bit improving because of the now that we have a new election, new party, new government structures. Maybe it will be changed the policies planning. I hope they have some improvements in next future. But still, they have questions. They have questions. Mostly the new government starting stage. We have some problems, investment problems. Also, we have to look at the pros, policies, planning. We have to take a time. So the times cannot wait for us. So it's. If we if we want to do improvements, we are going to very quickly work and just learn from others and just make some good cooperation for good developed countries. That's the answer.
So you are not optimistic, yeah, for the time being. Okay, thank you. So Kim Soo-jin, do you have any comment and any opinion on this matter? No? So what about Kim Hong-won?
As I explained earlier, we have a dream, Korea, China, and Mongolian Railway. I explained the three ways. Ulaanbaatar metro is very useful to reduce traffic congestion. Now, I saw in the screen 60% of the transportation in Ulaanbaatar was caused by private cars. But after so needed to construct public transportation, so it will be very helpful in the near future after constructing Ulaanbaatar metro. And also there was one more thing. I explained about the new capital city. In Korea, Sejong, I live in Sejong. Sejong is very convenient and good to access there. So you have a plan moving to the new capital city, Haroram. I hope it will be a good best way to reduce now congested population concentration also. So and also there's no good plan to reduce the population concentration. So you have after 2030, it will be very changed about traffic congestion.
Right. So you're optimistic and in the long-term perspective, yeah? So new Haroram will reduce the traffic congestion in Ulaanbaatar area. Right. So Dr. Jung, so you are the expert on the traffic accident and you talked about various methodologies to investigate the traffic causes or something like that. So what about your prospect? So traffic accident will reduce or will increase in Ulaanbaatar in 5 years' time from now?
Yeah, actually, I visited Ulaanbaatar city the last month for the ODA project. At that time, I saw a lot of the vehicles on the road, and sometimes I saw the traffic accident in the road. So I thought that because the reason why they have a lot of accident is the there is the low traffic accident investigation system in Mongolia, especially the Ulaanbaatar. So if the Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, accept the investigation system similar to those in the South Korea, so maybe the accident will be reduced and the traffic safety will be improved, I think.
Thank you. So actually this session is scheduled to 12:15. So Actually, I failed, timekeeping. I'm very sorry about it. However, I'd like to have your suggestion, our further cooperation between two countries. Yeah? So to improve traffic congestion and traffic management, what kind of project, what kind of programs we need for the cooperation. Would you mind from Dr. Jung to have any idea? Yeah. Any programs, any cooperation programs we need? I also ask you, your idea from the floor. So please suggest us what kind of program, project we need for the further development.
Well, I'm not sure in detail your suggestion. So in aspect in Seoul metropolitan government, they implemented traffic impact planning in short-term alternatives and mid-long-term alternatives. In short-term alternatives, they have concentrated in traffic signal operation and make a new road and detour road. It is just a side of supply, but it is not enough to handle it. But in mid-long-term strategy, they thought they have to enhancing public transit system facilities and so on. So I'd like to recommend in short-term alternatives, I'd like to suggest it's the most important thing is that we have to understand the causes of the phenomenon and the problem in traffic congestion in Ulaanbaatar. So whether it is whether traffic signal is a problem or not, or the geometric intersection is not reasonable or not, and and so on. So short-term strategies, you cannot solve the problem. And mid-long-term strategies, public transit system, developing public transit system is not too easy. So you have to pay a lot of money or a lot of laborers or engineers and so on. Yeah. So, however, I'd like to suggest enhancing public transit systems or pedestrian and bicycle and so on.
Okay, thank you. Oinderge, do you have any suggestions?
I agree with you. So to do that first, it's better to the main point is the people, people that have to have a good knowledge and what's the they have to know what's the reality, what's the problems, what's the that's why the first project will be, it's better to just some capacity building project. It will be very important for us.
Okay, thank you. Right, so we are very short of time, but I'd like to have just a couple of suggestions from the floor. Do anybody has an idea to promote the cooperation between two countries to improve traffic management? Right, Dr. Chimera? Thank, thank you. Thank you for your suggestion. And also any other suggestions from Korean side? Yeah. Okay, thank you for your suggestion. Right, I'm rather late, but it's the right time to closing our session. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentations and also your active participation. Thank you.